Hey, what's up guys, Ebro94 back with another action figure review, and today we are here to look at the final piece to our Ursa Major Hasbro Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure wave of the Series 1 Iron Man is what I'm going to call it. This is the Series 1 of Iron Man Marvel Legends. I'm hoping we get a continuation of this series, like similar to the way they did with Spider-Man. You know, they have like 10 series of those, so there's plenty of more figures to make in terms of Iron Man, at least a couple more waves in my opinion, so hopefully we get to see those in the future. Here we are. It takes 6 figures to build this Build-A-Figure, and those 6 figures include the Vault Guardsman, which comes with the left arm of Ursa Major, the Stealth Iron Man, which comes with the left leg, Dark Star, which comes with the torso, front, back, and the fur piece that attaches to the back. Then we have Ironheart, which comes with the right leg, Hologram Iron Man, which comes with the head, and last but not least we have Ultron, which comes with the right arm. Modular Iron Man is the only figure in the wave that does not need to be bought to complete this Build-A-Figure. He comes with no Build-A-Figure. 7 figures in the wave, but only 6 are needed for this Ursa Major. So here we have it, a literal Build-A-Bear. How funny would that have been if the package said Build-A-Bear and not Build a Figure? I'm sure there's some license issues with that one. But yeah, a Build-A-Bear pretty much. You built your own Ursa Major and it looks fantastic. So Ursa Major, Mikhail Urkovich Ursus, correct me if I said that wrong, is the real name of Ursa Major. He is actually a mutant. The first mutant born in Russia, or I should say the Soviet Union. Met Darkstar and Vanguard when he was brought into service for the state by Professor Phobos. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe he does have the ability to turn into Ursa Major and back into his human form. It's not like he is stuck in this form forever. He's almost like a Hulk that he can turn back and forth. Could be wrong, I'm not totally caught up with the story of Ursa Major, so let me know down below. So Ursa Major does stand about 8 inches tall and about maybe 5.5 inches wide. And here is a closer look at Ursa Major. You can see his head sculpt came out very nice. Hasbro went with a open mouth, yelling mouth, screaming mouth, however you want to put it. And it is fixed in that position. It is not articulated or anything. I think it looks pretty cool. It looks nice, but it would have been cool to get a alternate head, you know, just to have a closed mouth version as well. That would have been neat. And I do believe it is a new body sculpt, or at least a retool of that Sasquatch body mold, kind of like how they did the Man-Thing. Going down to the abdominal area, the groin, and down to the legs, we can see those claws at the feet are painted. So are the claws at the hands. We got some shading on the figure, which does make the figure look better. Here is the back side. There's the fur piece that goes onto that peg hole on the back to kind of enhance that fur look. Going down to the legs. Now this one does have pins at the knees, but not the elbows. So there's the pin there, and then there's no pins here. So when we're looking at the articulation of Ursa Major, his neck or his head sits on a ball jointed peg. It's gonna look up probably about that high right there. So it's got some angle, but not anything crazy. Looks down, not too much. That jaw really is going to hinder his movement, so he doesn't look down at all, to be honest. Left and right, it is going to be at an angle. So when you go left, you can see how he angles out. It's not very straight. Angles right. There you go. You can kind of do this, and that will, you know, that could be the left and right movement here, but it doesn't go all the way, you know. So that's about as far as you're going to get when it comes to the head articulation. He is pretty big, bulky, and he's got that fur piece over his shoulders as well. The arms will go forward about this high. As you can see, it'll hit that fur piece, and that fur piece will start coming off. Now you can remove it if you want, and then you can have them like this. Now you're free to move around where you want it to move it. But then you get this big old peg hole at the middle and the top, and the big old seam line is visible now from when you connected the front piece and the back piece of that torso. So keep that in mind. We have the arms going in and out. I'm going to actually go ahead and put this back on just so I can see if that hinders the in and out movement of those arms. So here we go. Doesn't really hinder it when it goes in and out, so that's pretty good. I like that. It only hinders it when you go forward and back, and you really got to go all the way up so it, for it to hit it. We have a bicep swivel, a single jointed elbow, swivel at the elbow, swivel at the wrist with a nice deep hinge. You can see here if you move it out, it actually, let me get closer here for you guys, it actually has this piece sticking out, and if you go in, it'll kind of stick out off the other end, but this thing goes in all the way in. Look at that. So pretty deep hinge there for the hand. That goes for both, of course. We have a diaphragm joint at the torso. Swivels, it clicks when you swivel it left and right. It goes back pretty deep. You can actually see the hole inside, and then it goes forward pretty good too. And then for the legs, we have a kick forward and a kick back, in and out about this far. We get thigh swivels that are super tight. And we get a single jointed knee, bends pretty good. And then we get a ankle hinge at the foot with an ankle rocker as well. There is no swivel. And there's a quick little simple pose for the figure. He's actually very articulated for how beefy and big he is, and it looks great. I think this figure came on nice. It's our first Ursa Major Marvel Legend figure ever, and Hasbro did a very great job with this. Alright guys, so let's get started with our size comparisons, and I'll go through the entire wave here. So we'll start off with Ultron. Obviously Ursa Major is going to tower over everybody, but you can see where Ultron stacks up next to him. Then up next we have the hologram version of Iron Man. Up next we have the Vault's Guardsman. And then here we have our Stealth Iron Man. Modular Iron Man is up next. Riri Williams, aka Ironheart. And then here we have Darkstar herself. Here we have Ursa Major next to Xemnu, which actually stacks up a little bit taller than Ursa Major. Obviously he stands up a little bit more straight. The sculpt here has a little bit of a slouch for his, his upper neck area. And of course we got this big old dome on Xemnu, so he does have some height over our Ursa Major. Now that being said, this is the Sasquatch body. It is a different body mold than the one you see here for Ursa Major. Next up we have Sasquatch himself, and he does stand taller than Ursa Major, as you can see. And actually by quite a bit too. And next up we have Man-Thing. Now I have to start panning out just a little bit more because Hulk stands a little bit taller than the others, and he was out of frame there, so you can see the height of him next to our Incredible Hulk from the 80th anniversary 2-pack. Alright guys, and there you have it. That concludes my review of not only the Ursa Major Build-A-Figure, but the entire Iron Man Ursa Major Build-A-Figure wave of Hasbro Marvel Legends. Here's one more shot of the entire wave all together side by side, with an addition of an extra Vault Guardsman right there. I have to say that this is my favorite wave of Marvel Legends this year so far. It beat out the Villains wave, which was my top wave until now. So now the Villains wave is going to take second place, and the Ursa Major wave will take first place without a doubt. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that Iron Man is my favorite character, so of course that's going to affect my score and rating. But not only because of that, but because we have some great looking figures in this wave. Solid additions. An Ultron that's been much needed for many, many years. We finally got our definitive Ultron. We now have a definitive modular Iron Man and Stealth Iron Man. And also, of course, our very first Ironheart figure, along with, very first, a lot of figures like the Vault's Guardsman and our Ursa Major Build-A-Figure. Of course, the lightest hit in the wave would have to go to the hologram Iron Man, but it's still a nice addition because of the fact that it's a hologram Iron Man, and we never gotten that before. A lot of creative things could be done with this, even though it is sporting the Mark 46 armor from the MCU. It doesn't really make sense in terms of a comic version, but it can still get away with it because it's the hologram, and you really can't tell unless you really nitpick and look at the armor up close. But from afar, if you do a display with Tony Stark inside his lab with a hologram of his armor up, then it works just fine. So that's it guys, that wraps up my review. Let me know your thoughts down below. What is your favorite figure of the entire wave? Mine's gonna have to go, if I had to pick one, to the classic looking Ultron, and then a close second probably goes to either Ironheart or the modular Iron Man. Let's not forget the Build-A-Figure himself. He is a great looking figure and a much needed character as well, so he is up there. Like I said, the entire wave is great. I recommend it, and it's very hard just to pick one out of the entire bunch. And before I close out the video, I just want to throw out some names in case anybody from Hasbro may be watching. What I would like to see in a Series 2 or Series 3 Iron Man wave would be Mandarin, Whiplash, Titanium Man, Zim Dynamo Classic version, Hulkbuster maybe as a Build-A-Figure, Fin Fang Foom Revisit maybe, not a bad idea to add as another Build-A-Figure, the Living Laser in his more classic attire, Ultimo, Thorbuster Iron Man, House of M Iron Man, Mark 1 Iron Man both gold and silver, maybe a revisit of the Ironmonger, Extremis Iron Man, and last but not least, a Tony Stark comic book version from top to bottom, not just a head sculpt, but either suited or unsuited, just a casual looking comic book version of Tony Stark would be perfect for this wave. And those are just some that I could think of. I'm sure there's others can think of, so let me know what else you guys may want to see in an Iron Man Marvel Legends Series 2 or 3 that I may have not mentioned. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. Go back and see the reviews of each individual figure if you haven't seen one or missed one or haven't seen them at all. Be sure to check them out. Thanks for sticking around. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Take care, and as always, have a great day. Bye.
That's crispy.